Stupid Garbage Podcast.
Oh, I like that. Hello.
Howdy.
How are you?
I'm doing just fine, Jess. How are you? No.
No.
I do mind. Stop doing stuff like that. Particularly when it's so close to your telephone.
Yeah.
It might be 2 inches away from the microphone that we're both speaking into. Stop it. You shouldn't do it ever. This is a particularly bad time and place. You bragged for several days that you had mountains of prep.
And then I did even more prep. So you said I couldn't just brag and then have it carry me through, but I'm continuing.
You should have no problem driving the next 2 podcasts.
Sure.
So.
Well, not really. I mean, look. Okay. Well, so here's the thing.
Off to a rocky start.
I told you guys, did I? Oh, about the mold at Chernobyl, I think is what I teased last episode.
You did tease a radioactive mold, so let's see where you go with that. I'm curious, personally.
The more interesting thing... okay, so there's a social media post that I read about it. Should I read that first, or should I just...
It's your world, kid. I'm just living in it.
So I'm going to read you guys the post, if I can find it.
Oh, on your phone, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, it could be anywhere on my phone. I did make a podcast album. Oh, and it's relevant. Oh my god. Wow, my life is together. Okay. So.
Wait a minute. The post that you just deliberately pulled up to speak about this point is relevant?
Well, I saved it.
Of course it is.
No, I know, but I had 2 separate things that I researched, and I only found one of them, and I was like, all right, I'll find the other one later. So it's amazing that this is one of the 2. I mean, it was a 50-50 chance.
I don't think you have a firm enough grasp on the English language to know what the word amazing means. That's what I just gleaned from that sentence of yours. Yeah. I know. What's your thing?
Okay, so the first post is wiki article with like a link to the mold. And then someone
you clearly didn't click.
No.
Sure.
Someone goes, love that mold. And I was like, what the fuck? And then, la, and then it basically, like, quotes the Wikipedia article, and someone's like, okay, but the elephant foot is a large mass of black...
Elephant's foot.
What did I say?
Elephant.
Okay.
There's an apostrophe S, dear reader.
Of black LFCM with many layers externally resembling tree bark and glass. The mass is quite dense, unyielding to a drill, but able to be damaged by a Kalashnikov rifle. And then someone goes, why was someone shooting it with a rifle?
That's fucking crush, mate.
And then someone says, I can sleep again knowing that the elephant's foot is weak to Kalashnikovs. Stop making me say it. And then someone says, I love that mold because humans made a mess we have no idea how to clean up, and barely 5 years later we discovered an entirely new kind of fungus that's just eating it. Radiation levels are going down much faster than any of our models could predict. This stuff hasn't been found anyplace else in the world. And then someone did a Gordon Ramsay meme about it. So,
a couple of things. First of all, you didn't have any response to any of the stuff that I said. I only said a couple things.
What'd you say?
It doesn't matter. You said some abbreviation, then I made some stupid...
Oh my god, I totally didn't even...
No, you didn't even
I'm so sorry.
I might as well have been outside. I might as well have been screaming in through a window. In our 3rd story living room. So, it doesn't matter. Really doesn't matter. But, first of all, interesting, do you have more research?
I do. My favorite part about this is the post with Gordon Ramsay.
Well,
and it's Jessica, finally some good fucking food. Referring to the mold.
Do you understand how this might be a little bit more of a visual element?
Do you understand how literally everyone has a visual inside of their own brain of every meme at this point? So it still works.
What else?
Let's support our love.
You're right. You're doing good. You're doing okay so far. You got like a B+.
I researched. And then I also...
You can bump it up to an A.
So it's funny because I was like, oh, this is cool. There's a mold that can eat this radioactive clump or whatever from Chernobyl. And I was like, that's really cool. I really want to know about this mold. What kind of a badass, like, is it a mutant? And, what's going on with this mold? And I actually found not that much about it, but I found a lot of...
karate. Lives in the sewers with his brothers.
Oh,
are they brothers?
That's cute. Yes.
The Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
Or are they just all turtles?
Brothers.
I think they're brothers too, but I'm not confident enough to say, oh boy. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja... For those of you who don't know about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, there was, they might have started as comics by Jack Kirby, and then they were made into, famously, a cartoon show in the, I want to say 80s, maybe early 90s, and there's a Teenage Mutant...
And then that glorious movie.
Well, there was a terrible movie in the 80s, and then that spawned a couple of sequels. which is just a really aggressive type of bird at the beach. But they can shapeshift.
Isn't krill also its own?
That was a deep dive
thing?
A krill, as far as I know, a skrull is some sort of Marvel shapeshifting alien.
No, I mean krill.
Krill.
Maybe I think of krill.
Krill is something else that whales eat through their baleen. They're filter feeders. But
sure.
So anyway, there's a theme song for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show that goes Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, ba 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 ba, heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
And half shell?
In a half shell. Which, yeah,
it's
you're right.
It's just a shell.
It's a shell.
It's a full
Well, I don't know, as opposed to like a bivalve, like a clam or something.
I didn't realize that turtles were not inside of their shells. They're
attached to them.
Yeah, no, but
they're not like hermit crabs.
They're not attached to them. It's literally like their spine.
I mean, yeah.
Like I thought it was like, oh, if you peel off, its shell, it'll be wounded, but it'll be fine. No.
A turtle is not a lizard living in a big rock.
Yeah, or like a hermit crab, But
it's more like
I thought it was like
turtle.
I thought it was like peeling off someone's fingernail, where it's like, ow, that would really hurt, but it's not a part of me in a necessary way.
If your entire body was covered in fingernails,
I would think that it would just be like a bare, sad little back, like it would hurt, it would be sensitive and tender.
Anyway,
but no, you kill the turtle, guys. The turtle's dead.
So anyway, I mean, in theory, you can repair a turtle shell. It's just you have to do it quick. It doesn't matter.
You can, but I'm saying
this is
anyway.
This is more herpetology.
I'm sorry, your Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle rant about my black mold.
I know, my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle rant is already going really far into the weeds.
I'll get back to it then.
If I may finish my point, the song lists out what all the mutant turtles do, and one of the lines is Donatello does machines. Which I guess maybe in the 80s no one really knew anything about computers and they were just intimidated by anything powered by electricity.
Does machine.
But it's it's the 1980s. It's not 1904.
They know that you don't do a machine. Like that's not
that should
you don't
be
do machines.
You don't have to know a lot about computers
to
have that bare minimum level of knowledge. Yeah.
Good God.
Okay, well
just a grasp of the English.
That one has a katana, that one has nunchucks. What does that one do? Machines.
Yeah, like
I beg your pardon? He does machines.
You don't do instruments.
It's like something. I mean, maybe if this was translated from Ukrainian or something, like if this was someone's fourth language,
Let me get back to it.
The big turtle, he does machines. The Donatello one, he does the machines, and the sword one wants to have fucks with the girl in the yellow jumpsuit. She is named after month of year. Her name is April. Are they brothers? I'm going to look it up while you do this.
Okay. Please do not interrupt me to tell me the news. Wait until I finish a thought, please.
Jessica, sometimes there's a breaking story.
I just need respect.
Yeah. Fine.
Once.
Jessica, we'll see what happens.
So everyone, as you know, Chernobyl, as depicted on the HBO special, you guys should all watch it. But anyway, Chernobyl was a night... Go ahead, please.
The turtles.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Sweetie, you did not have to interrupt me for that. So anyway, so the Chernobyl disaster happened in 1986, when obviously they were doing a quote-unquote routine systems check, which has been debated in the comments of many an article that I was like, I do not know enough about Ukrainian bureaucracy to understand what really caused this, but the Chernobyl HBO situation made it seem like it was just a bunch of miscommunications with the workers and like the upper management, and there was a bunch of new staff that was just recently hired. That it was like a whole fucking thing, but I think according to like the public record, it was just a system check that went wrong, and basically there was a huge explosion, 2 explosions actually, and then a bunch of nuclear waste just fucking everywhere.
You're just explaining the Chernobyl disaster.
Well, to who doesn't know it.
What most people don't know is that the reactor 4 blew up, as Jessica mentioned.
The magma.
And was the core was exposed.
Austin Powers reference. Yeah, thank you.
Magma. So a real deep cut there.
Thank you.
Oh, this is really.
This is what happens when I lead. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
Kind of frantic.
I'm inviting you in.
Yeah, this is like some postmodernist. This is like some experimental art. This is like a Jackson Pollock.
Enjoy this.
Podcasting, so Jackson Pollock.
Stop.
See? Do you see what you do? Do you see what you've wrought?
What you've wrought.
I don't.
I love it.
That's not
so
something
dramatic.
he says.
Who? Oh, I wasn't even trying to do his voice.
You were. That's the only voice you do. So, what a lot of people do know is that the thing exploded and all that. What a lot of people don't know is that the other reactors, the Chernobyl plant, was kept open until the year 2000.
I did not know that.
Through the collapse of you did know it because I told it to you like 5 days ago. Through the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Chernobyl plant was kept going, and just but like every 5 years, a different reactor would be shut down. Be like, oh, this one's old and might explode, and this one's water damaged because rain got into it or something.
Yeah, apparently they were built.
But the last one was still operating into the year 2000, the far off future.
I heard. I'm gonna stop you there. You're so sweet. I did read things. I mean, it was basically just like a bunch of Americans being like, "We're better. Our nuclear plants are better." And they were just saying like, the Ukrainian ones were super out of date, and it was like a funding issue as to why they weren't replaced sooner, but just additionally, they just weren't made very well. So that's like a whole thing, and everyone's like, we're not surprised. I'll circle back to a cool point about that later. I'll do it now. Someone that, one of the guys, I don't remember his name, didn't write it down, didn't care, but he basically was one of the researchers that was tasked with like figuring out how dangerous everything was after everything blew up. And he was joking, and he was like, he's probably going to die of cancer or something, but he was just like, look, like Ukraine makes the best nuclear shit in the world. Like we're just, that's why it's killing everyone, because we're so good. And he just was defending it to his last death, and I thought that was interesting.
To his last death. As opposed to all of his prior deaths.
Yes.
Got it.
Precisely. So anyway, basically what I want to fucking talk about is a thing called the elephant's foot. And this is what the post was referencing that the mold was eating, and basically it is the largest and most dangerous piece of waste in the world, which I think is cool. It is a large mass of corium. They called it corium because, guess what? It's made from little bits of the core.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fun.
But more specifically, it's made of silicon dioxide, traces of uranium, titanium, graphite, magnesium, zirconium, etc., etc. And then look, Rob, see that point? It's right here. It continues right here for some fucking reason at the bottom of the page.
Do you realize that the people listening to this podcast
You like to make fun of me about my...
Can't see where you're pointing.
Crazy... I said at the bottom of the page. Just, okay?
Interesting.
So anyway, it's made of, more broadly, nuclear fuel, melted concrete, sand, core shielding, and it's dubbed corium. So basically, I'm just going to freeform it, but it's like... So it was created under Reactor 4, which, again, as Rob mentioned, was like the big exploding one that everyone talks about. So basically this mass of like the magma and the lava that created because the core just got too hot and too hot and too hot to the point where it just created this like molten lava. I think that's right. Molten, right?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
it created lava that sunk like I think 3 or 4 floors, including like going through layers of concrete and pipe and stuff, and it like clogged all the pipes. And it ended up like resting in the basement, and I think it was a steam chamber, so it's just sitting there. So that's pretty cool. And the uranium that it's made of is basically from the fuel rods that ended up melting into the mix. So I thought that was kind of cool. The rods, if you don't know, dear reader, were what was intended to save it and cool the reactor down, but they didn't work because they were applied too late anyway.
It's a lot of nuclear power plant talk.
It's very relevant. It's very relevant.
It's relevant because you're talking about it.
So, look, this is a nuclear power plant show.
Go ahead, Homer Simpson.
You told us all about the...
Go ahead.
Oh, my idol.
I'm sorry?
What? So anyway, this thing, it is only 1 to 2 meters long, which is how many feet, Rob? 6?
2 meters is about 6.5 feet, yeah.
Okay. So it's between 3-ish and 6-ish feet long, but it weighs 2 metric tons, which seems like a lot. Rob, what weighs 2 metric tons?
Like a car. It's probably
Crazy.
about 2 metric tons. 2 metric tons is like 4,500 pounds.
That's a lot. So as it said in the
small
post,
car.
It is unyielding to a drill, but it can be damaged by an AKM rifle. Don't know why they would shoot at it. Still never got an answer to that. Yeah, as it said also in the post, it looks like tree bark and glass.
Brothers! They're brothers. The turtles are brothers.
I said they were.
The turtles are brothers.
I knew they were.
Fucking finally. They started out making lead figurines. A lot of shit going on in the TMNT universe. But go ahead.
So, anyway, So basically, yes, this was presumably created in 1986 when the whole situation happened. By 1998, the outer layer began to turn to dust and mass started to crack, which is a great sign. But, hear me out, at the time of the discovery, which was 8 months after formation, I read a bunch of different things from a bunch of different articles, so I'm just going to go with the one that I liked the best. But it said that it was a lethal dose within 30 seconds. Great. Lethal dose of radiation, yeah.
Wow, I wonder how long it took to kill you.
30 seconds?
No.
It said like 2 days or something.
Okay. Thank you.
Like within 48 hours, you're just straight up dead.
Gee whiz.
Basically, I can go into that too because I know that, well, I don't know that much, but apparently it just like, the radiation just gets into your cells and just like, it drains them of what? I don't know. I mean, presumably everything, but I don't know. And then it just kind of like fucks them up and it makes them all like bump into each other and not know what they're doing and it reprograms them. And,
yeah, it cuts their DNA to ribbons.
Which again, like, it's hard to picture what that looks like in reality. But anyway.
Well, you've seen Chernobyl. You've seen the HBO miniseries.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like all
critically acclaimed, Emmy award winning series Chernobyl. Maybe I have radiation poisoning. Yeah.
Like I know that it looks like it said. I mean, the HBO series depicted that like everyone's face would like literally burn off and turn red, and their skin would just drip down.
Look like you got slammed into a hot griddle.
Yeah, the article says that you would have uncontrollable vomiting, you'd be nauseous, tired, dizzy. You'd have diarrhea nonstop, and then eventually you would just die. That's all I got from the article. Story me leave. So anyway,
radiation poisoning.
So it says basically the other statistic that I found was, and I think this was again like in 1996 when people started like really coming up to it, or like truly I don't know when this stat was taken, but it said it produces 8,000 to 10,000 roentgens.
Yeah.
1/10 of that can kill a person. So It's very fucking powerful. And then this says, I don't have a clear date for when this happened.
I think much less than that can kill a person.
Sure. But I think this was 10 years. This is like the 10-year mark. So once, in 1996, it would have been a lethal dose within 5 minutes or 300 seconds. I don't know why they needed to write seconds, but I translated it to minutes. If you were within 3 feet of it. So I'd be curious, like, what does that mean in terms of, like, how far, like, what like, I want to know all the ratios. What if I'm within 6 feet of it?
3 feet, oh.
What if I'm 20 feet away? Like, what are we looking at? What if there's a wall between us and I don't know.
Why?
Because I'm curious.
If there's a wall between you, then in theory, radioactive particles can't reach you if the wall is sufficiently thick and made of something like lead or concrete.
Good.
Go ahead.
Again, another statistic, it'll lethal dose within 300 seconds. And in 1 hour, it's the equivalent of getting 4.5 million chest x-rays.
Wow. That's a lot.
It's pretty fucking hardcore.
That's pretty fucking hardcore.
So this fucking elephant's foot is amazing. It was photographed for the first time, again, in 1996. Even then, it was at 1/10 of the radiation that it was originally, which I think is where we're getting the 300 seconds from. And by that time, it says 1 hour of exposure is fatal.
Huh.
So
interesting.
I don't know what the fucking whatever. Anyway.
Well, maybe that'll help you do your chicken scratch math.
How so? Oh, I wanted to.
Two different comparisons might help you draw some sort of
yes
lines between an hour, a day, a tenth of the radiation,
a
minute, a second.
The guy that I was telling you guys about took a selfie next to it.
What guy?
The guy that I said, like, when he was asked about Ukrainian whatever, and he was like, Ukraine makes the best nuclear shit in the world. Oh. And nuclear energy.
Yep.
And that's why it killed everyone, because it's so strong and so good. That was the guy that took a selfie with it. So I'm assuming, and this guy's in his 60s and he's still alive. So
some big brain moves right there.
Yeah.
Big dick energy.
It said that he came and visited the elephant foot a lot. So I think
it speaks to me.
No, it's like it was, and the selfie was interesting, and they were like, "Oh, you can tell how warped the photo is because oh my goodness."
What's this man's name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows? I didn't write it down. It was long in Ukrainian. I was like, I can't be bothered. There's a K in it.
There's a K in a Ukrainian name?
Just look up elephant foot selfie. Say. There's one man who's ever taken a selfie with it.
All right.
Oh, also, the people in 1996 that took the picture of the elephant's foot it wasn't the selfie, but they took a picture just of the elephant's foot itself.
Didn't they use mirrors?
Yes, they literally put like a camera on a stool or something that they could wheel around, and they had it like they wheeled it down an alley and then used a mirror to take a picture of this because they said that on their radiation scanners it was saying like absolutely do not approach this, and they were like, what could this possibly be? So they just wanted to see it. And it's a picture. The elephant's foot, it to me doesn't look like an elephant's foot at all, but they, you know.
There you go.
So that's my selfie.
That's the one you're looking for?
Yep. And
That's
I don't think
man's
that the
name.
picture looks that bad, but apparently...
I mean, the man, it looks, assuming there's one man in this picture, you can see him twice as though he has a ghost.
That's because there's a low shutter speed.
Okay. Jessica, bring your photography expertise to the podcast.
That's also why his flashlight looks crazy.
Why would you, it's probably very, very dark. I guess that would be low shutter speed, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and he also did it on a self-timer. And that was... The article said he lowered the shutter speed because of the self-timer, and I'm like, that's absolutely not a thing.
Well,
Like,
looks like there's another person taking a photo with it, unless that's the same guy.
You know?
So it looks like someone's taking a photo of this person taking a photo
Yeah.
of the elephant's foot.
It's probably the guy. It's got to be the guy.
All right, let me
He's like the elephant foot guy.
He's jerked off on it 4 times.
It helps break down the acidity. Radioactivity.
Gross.
Anyway.
It's not acidic.
His name's like Alexander Krakikoff or something.
It takes some of the, the spice away from it. Some of the pepperiness.
Maybe he just like eats half a bite of it, or like uses it, sprinkles it on his food, and that's how he stays alive.
His name is Artur Korneyev.
See, I was close.
Yeah, it did have a K in it.
And the name started with an A.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's the guy. I think that's the article I probably read too, but I read a ton of articles. But yeah. So one very upsetting thing that I read about this, that I think it's like one of those things where it's like technically this could happen, but it's not going to. But it said it is still melting into the base of the power plant.
Yeah.
Which I find extremely alarming.
Which it could, in theory, contaminate groundwater.
Exactly. But they said first it would cause a huge explosion, and then it would contaminate the groundwater. Which both things sound really not fun.
Gee whiz.
And like we just put a sarcophagus, and apparently the sarcophagus also like broke down.
Yeah, they
almost immediately. Yeah.
It was humongous. I've seen
They
pictures of it.
said that if you fill the Empire State Building a third of the way, that's how much concrete was used in the sarcophagus.
In the first one, I think the second one is
It's absurd.
many times larger.
Insane.
I think the second one's like 300 feet or maybe 300 meters, but that seems too tall. It's like 350 feet tall and 350 feet wide and like 800 feet long. It's
crazy.
Enormous.
And they shut down like a 15-mile radius around the power plant. But you can apparently go on tours. I'm not sure if you can go. They say you can go on tours of like Pripyat.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's the town.
Well, it's the town, but it's the town that people lived in to service the nuclear power plant.
So it's probably like at least 15 miles away.
I'll look it up. I don't think it's right there, but
okay.
Who fucking knows?
So while you do that.
I mean, because they put the sarcophagus and shit over it, and then people kept working there for 15 years.
It's insane.
At the other 3 reactors.
I read that was one of the reasons why the sarcophagus didn't really work, because it was never fully contained, and people were coming in and out. They told what I read was that people were coming in and out to study. They weren't like working on making nuclear power. They were studying the garbage that,
No, the reactors were still functioning.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I didn't read that, but
Pripyat, they kind of change around the Y and the I, is a ghost city in northern Ukraine. Ooh.
I would love to. People host tours there.
Yeah.
Now, and I'd love to go.
The 9th nuclear city, a type of closed city, spooky, in the Soviet Union, to serve the nearby. You keep talking while I
just feel like I really want to go do that, and like I've debated adding that to my bucket list, but I think I truly
Population estimates 2020 total 0.
Yeah, that adds up. But yeah, I don't know.
As many as 50,000.
I don't know how dangerous it would be, And I don't think we really have I think the total death toll of Chernobyl is 31 right now. Because everyone that's died of like some weird like radioactivity adjacent issue, they just don't clock it as death. So like I think the amount of people that
this man is still alive.
What?
You said they don't clock it as death.
Exactly. They're just like they clock it as death, but not death from directly related to Chernobyl. So they're just like it technically killed 30 workers or something that died within 48 hours of cleaning up the mess. But so yeah, I would be curious to know, like this guy that's been studying the elephant's foot is in his late 60s and is still alive. So I feel like maybe it's not that dangerous now, but also they said even with this new sarcophagus, it would protect us from like only 100 years.
Yeah, it has to be replaced after a century or 500 years or something.
The one I read said 100 years.
Yeah, I believe you.
at most.
I believe you.
So yeah, I would wonder, like, truly how dangerous it would be to walk around Pripyat. Because if it's, like, deemed safe because it's more than 15 miles away, we should be fine, but also people aren't allowed to live there, so maybe...
Yeah. But who knows?
And
who knows?
how long would a tour even take?
Pripyat is located about 2 kilometers or 1.2 miles from the Chernobyl nuclear power plant.
God.
It was evacuated in 2 days. Some people, I think,
Seems
lived
like too long.
at the power plant, but not many.
That's insane.
Those people obviously died.
Lived in the power plant?
Yeah.
Oh
it was
God.
a big facility. That's what this seems
like
to
for
indicate.
like the workers.
Yeah.
Bro, that's fucking
But
crazy.
I don't know that.
But that's, I wonder, I'm curious, again, if it's only a mile away, that seems like a really dangerous tour.
Yeah, Chernobyl was originally supposed to be 15 or so miles from Kiev, the capital of the Ukraine.
Oof.
And then the Ukrainian, or maybe just Soviet, Board of Science was like, yeah, no, please don't do that. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
That's really close. Please don't do that.
I think, again, they knew that they weren't very well built, so they were like, So anyway, that got me onto looking at the original thing, which was called the Medusa mold. Don't know why it's called Medusa, but
because
whatever.
if you look at it, you die.
It never addressed that.
Didn't you say that?
No, if you look at the elephant foot, you die.
Got it.
I mean, they should have called it the Medusa foot, but whatever. Anyway.
Well, Medusa didn't have feet.
Depends on what kind of depiction. Sometimes.
No. She always has a snake or... Yeah, she always has a snake's lower body. She's a Gorgon. She was a monster. She was beautiful and then was turned into a monster or something. I think she's... Who was her father? Poseidon?
I want that tattoo, to be honest.
Medusa?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have...
She
You could
seems
just
like a cool
add
bitch.
her beheaded head
Stop it.
underneath your sword.
That's so dark. No, I like
She was
Medusa
beheaded.
alive.
Theseus.
Perseus. It's in the movie Clash of the Titans, Rob. Come on. Perseus kills
Is it
her.
really?
Yes.
I don't remember that movie.
I think. It might be War of the something.
War of the Clash of the
Nerds.
Titans.
I don't know. Anyway,
Revenge of the Nerds.
One of those with the guy with the blunt face. He kind of just...
Michael Shannon?
His face looks like you took a piece of clay and kind of went boop, boop on either side. You just smush it in from top to bottom and left to right. It's just very square.
Sylvester Stallone?
Compact head. No. I can't think of
Anything more about him?
I'm not...
Is he a white gentleman?
Yes. I mean...
Liam Neeson.
He gives me like a gladiator kind of vibe. Liam Neeson was also in that movie, but
I know,
he
that's
played
why I said
Zeus.
Liam Neeson.
No.
Who did this guy play?
It's Perseus.
Oh, he
He
played
played the main character.
Oh, he was a no-name actor. He was nobody.
No, he's been in some stuff. He was in like 300 or...
he was not. You're thinking of Gerard Butler.
I know, but
Gerald Butler.
he gives me the vibe of like Gladiator,
That movie was real gay.
300, This is Sparta, whatever the hell.
This is Sparta is
Was
a
a
line
spoof.
from... No.
Yeah, they made a movie called
Oh,
This is
they
Sparta.
did, didn't they? No, it was called...
300 something. I don't know.
I remember seeing that. That was
I'm
horrible.
flopping here.
Yeah, 300. It was called like Gladiator movie. Or
I could have
something.
sworn it was called This is Sparta.
I don't.
Look that up. You have your phone
Meet
in
the
front of you.
Spartans.
Go! I was close.
It's guess what it has again. We've talked about this before. 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Out of 100. You are so generous to it.
Is it
has a
2?
2%.
Oh, that was my second guess.
You are far too kind.
Shit.
I seem to remember Carmen Electra being in that movie.
I don't know. I liked the Hunchback. Here's
Which
my
is
favorite.
really kind of got to be rock bottom for it. The Hunchback. Tiffany Haddish was in that movie.
Oh, you hate her.
I'm not. Carmen Electra wasn't it. Haha.
She probably had a cameo.
No, Carmen Electra was a big part.
Really?
She was like the third
Oh boy.
biggest part. She was the queen, who was played by whatever Lena Headey or Headley, whatever her name is, the Game of Thrones woman. In the actual movie,
Oh.
it was played by.
I was like, it was played by Carmen Electra. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, no, wow.
Okay.
But no, Clash of Titans. Clash of Titans.
He always has like a 5
2009,
o'clock shadow
2010,
and short
yes.
hair. And I feel like he always plays like some sort of a,
Sam
again, like,
Worthington.
I don't know. I don't know his name.
Because no one knows his name. Because he's no.
Yeah, he has. Oh, he was in like
He was Avatar.
Oh shit! That
In
was a good one.
Avatar.
Wasn't he in like some weird robot movie too?
Avatar.
Like robots, not aliens.
Robots and Aliens. Avatar.
Or maybe he was in like a space movie. I don't know. Anyway,
He was
Oh my
in
God.
Avatar.
I'm really floundering. He was in like maybe one of the new aliens or something. He was in
Terminator Salvation. Fractured.
maybe it was Fractured. I don't know.
Who's
My
seen
lord,
Fractured?
do I not know? I have. Probably.
No.
What's it about?
Stop it. I seem to remember it being with Anthony Hopkins and it was about a murderer or something, but I don't think so. I don't think
I probably
Anthony
haven't seen
Hopkins
it.
would be in a movie with this guy.
Whatever.
I think
Anyway,
it's something else. With what's his name? Chris Evans.
My
Chris
lord.
Hemsworth.
Can I get back to my story,
Evans.
please?
Go ahead.
My
Yes.
God. So anyway, the Medusa mold, this is really short. The Medusa mold is a radiotropic fungi. It uses melanin to convert gamma radiation into chemical energy. So that was cool. It
like
just
the Hulk.
uses the chemical of melanin. Like, it's just like, oh, black, give it to me. And then it just eats black.
Well, melanin and color are not the same exact thing. Like,
Black.
it doesn't eat... Okay, fair enough. Keep going. You're right.
It was first discovered in Chernobyl in 1991. So it was, like, I mean, reading into that, it was, like, a mutated sort of... If it was first discovered in Chernobyl, I guess it was created by this, in a way.
Maybe.
One thing that creeped me out, it didn't say... Fucking Wikipedia kills me. But it didn't say specifically, like, it just said 3 fungi. It didn't say, like, 3 fungi that are radiotropic or, like, 3 of the Medusa mold fungi. Like, how many... Anyway. So, 3 fungi thrive in environments with radiation levels 500 times higher than their normal environment.
Interesting.
Which seems like really hardcore fungi that just 500 times the normal thing. Like, or what are they doing? They're just waiting around. They're like, one day I'm gonna get this fucking meal and it'll be worth it.
So the movie I was thinking of was Fracture, not Fractured.
Okay.
With Anthony Hopkins, not Chris Evans, as I remembered it being, rather Ryan Gosling.
Cute. What's Fractured?
Oh, I have no idea. I didn't look that up.
I've probably seen it. I think he was in some weird alien movie.
Let's
pretty sure.
see. This is... What else are we doing? So, boy. Do you like Anthony Hopkins?
Sure.
Nice.
I don't have any opinion about him, to be honest, except for, like, I liked Silence of the Lambs.
Dr. Lecter. Dr. Lecter.
I think that's one of my favorite impressions that you do.
Dr. Lecter, really?
Yeah. Because I think you do a good job, and also her voice is really fucking annoying.
Dr. Lecter. That's what she sounds like.
Like, I know, but, like, when I watched the movie for the first time, I was like, oh, whatever, she's, just a girl. But then I watched it again, and I was like...
She's just a girl.
Yes, she's just a lady. And I watched it again as an adult, and I was like, oh, she's just terrible. I don't understand why he liked her.
Fractured was a psychological thriller.
I think I've seen it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, we saw this together.
Thank you!
After his wife and injured daughter disappear from the emergency room, a man becomes convinced the hospital is hiding something.
Oh, I hated that movie!
We saw that, I think, less than a year ago.
We did. That was a horrendously...
It was not good.
It was cool. It was, like, one of those ones that, like, when it was like, oh, we got to the punchline, I was like, that was too dark, and I'm too sad. It was weird.
Do you know Jodie Foster's gay? I like to eat box, Dr. Lecter.
Oh my god.
Dr. Lecter.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's a lesbian.
I think I knew that, actually. She did, like, some weird documentary thing in a subway about it.
Dr. Lecter, what?
I'm pretty sure.
Is that where gay people have sex?
What did I watch?
She was in...
Maybe it was just her in a movie, and I was like, oh, so she's gay.
She was the reason that Hinckley tried to assassinate Reagan, as you know.
That's actually true.
It's like, this is all true.
I don't know.
I don't know.
The
weird thing you said about her having sex in a subway station.
She didn't have sex in the subway.
I don't know what to
Okay.
believe. So that sounds like hogwash.
So
but everything I've said, why what?
Like, were they like, she'll love that I'm doing this right now?
Yeah, I think he saw her in Taxi Driver.
Okay.
The not to be confused with the Queen Latifah Jimmy Fallon vehicle from 2003, I think. Okay. But rather the Robert De Niro film.
Natalie Portman was in that.
No, you're thinking of Jodie Foster. Movie.
I'm pretty sure.
Was in what? The Queen Latifah movie?
No.
The Robert De Niro movie that came out 12 years before she was born? I'm gonna, Jessica.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that Natalie Portman, born sometime in the mid to late 80s, was not in this movie that came out in 1976.
Oh, fuck.
Reagan.
I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah. I think Reagan was shot at before Natalie Portman was born.
Sorry, Reagan was assassinated for Jodie Foster?
No. He wasn't assassinated. It was an attempted assassination. Reagan lived until it was like 93.
Okay.
Taxi Driver's in 1976. So let's see. Natalie Portman was born in...
What was her first movie?
81. Okay, she's older than I thought, but still, several years before this movie came out.
What was her...
Natalie Portman?
First movie, yeah.
I'm gonna say it's not Taxi Driver. Let's see. She's Jewish. Found her way into Hollywood. Big surprise. 6 months after Ruthless. Okay, so clearly she'd already been doing something. When she was 10 years old, a Revlon agent spotted her at a pizza restaurant, asked her to become a child model. Oh, she definitely got molested.
Stop it.
She turned down the offer, but used the opportunity to get an acting agent.
Good for you.
She auditioned for the 1992 off-Broadway musical Ruthless, about a girl who prepared to commit murder to get the lead in a school play. She and Britney Spears were chosen as the understudies for star Laura Bell Bundy. I don't know who that is. She's
Britney Spears.
Hairspray, Elle Woods, and Legally Blonde. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. There you go. She starred in some...
You did not give me her first movie, but that's all right.
Her first movie? I don't... Oh, you're terrible.
You're right. No one cares about this. Put it away.
Yeah, this is bad. She has a Hebrew name, Natalie.
Okay, that's not better.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably going to upset a lot of people. Reminding them that those people are just out there, listening, waiting, watching.
Oh my God.
Collecting insurance money.
We watched Jojo Rabbit yesterday.
Accumulating interest. We did a rewatch of Jojo Rabbit. Jojo.
Still love it.
Rabbit. Also, pretty heavy on the Jew stuff. So
I brought it up.
We watched a different movie, It. Which, I mean, there was a rabbi in
there.
There
also was a Jewish situation.
Big surprise. Hollywood movie has Jewish characters. More at 11.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey.
I had to teach Jessica Sterner, a lifelong Jewess, that I think...
That Reagan was not assassinated?
Why, I've had to teach you many, many things that school... I mean, the public school system of New York State clearly failed you very severely.
Well,
but I had to teach you, a lifelong Jewess, born and raised in the suburbs of New York City, the Jerusalem of the West, that there was a stereotype wherein Jewish people controlled the media.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I had to teach you that, again, within this past year. I'd say it's been a big year for Jess. And I told her it 3 or 4 times and she didn't believe me.
Because I don't understand. I mean, I was raised very Jewish in a society full of mostly Jews. Like, when would that have ever come up? So... You know, we didn't really say a lot of anti-Semitic things.
Okay, but you must know about that'd be like saying, well, I'm black and I'm from a black family and, you know, all my friends are black and the school I went to was predominantly black. So I was shocked when I went to college to learn that some people don't like black people. It's like, what? No, man, you should know.
Well, I knew that
you especially should know that.
I knew that people didn't like Jews and I knew that, like, the Holocaust happened. Like,
Bullshit. I'll call it right now.
Oh, my God.
You were lied to. I saw an ad today for something called the Epoch Times, but it's spelled EPOCH, like epoch, like, well, it's epoch, but like a period of time. And it was just a YouTube ad, and I was just waiting.
And how did you know it wasn't called Epoch Times?
Some dude said it. He said epoch. I was like, that's a stretch. So, but anyway, I was waiting, 6 seconds for the ad to let me skip it, and then, because one of my browsers has ad block and one doesn't, it's a whole thing. Anyway, I was just waiting, and it grabbed my attention really quickly because it was a man and a woman, and the woman said, "Oh man, the Trump administration really failed us with, or whatever, the federal government really failed us with its coronavirus response." And then the guy said, "That's what you've been told, isn't it?" And then he went on this long rant, like, you could get the entire timeline of how the communist government of communist China fucked up and silenced whistleblowers and ended dissent, which is all, in theory, the points that they were making in the ad, they kind of glossed over, like, so things happened in China and then this other thing happened in China, and so don't worry about looking into it, but it happened. And so they cite, this is a kind of a common fallacy in a lot of debate, is that they cite things that actually happened. Like, these whistleblowers were silenced, and,
Sure.
They did say some stuff that I think might have been bullshit. Like, oh, did you know it was created in a lab? It's like, no, man, that's not true.
Well, people do say, they're like, it is synthetic, but it wasn't created in a lab. I'm like, that's not possible.
It does. So anyway, but they're like, yeah, it was meant to be a biological weapon. I was like, okay. But so they said things that were true. Like, oh, yeah, the Chinese government didn't tell the CDC or whatever, or they didn't tell the WHO. And then...
Who?
Precisely. And then it went from there to say, which means all of this is China's fault and the federal government hasn't done anything wrong. It's like, no, man. The Chinese government and the American government can both be fucking up discreetly from each other. They don't have to, it's not one or the other. So it was just very interesting.
We're not relying on China.
Where can I find these charts? At Epic Times. They've been covering communist China for 20 years.
Now you're doing what I'm doing.
Because you got water on something. You waterlogged a piece of paper, so I'm trying to move it before it gets worse.
You're an idiot.
Do you know what this is by any chance?
Yours.
Do you happen to know what this is?
No. I mean, now I do.
Anyway, so I just saw that ad and I thought, why? Because I've been seeing a lot of targeted political ads that seem to, from YouTube, seem to think that I am a really diehard
Trump
Republican.
supporter.
Yeah, I don't know where, because all the ads I see are for Masterclass Chess and then for Trump re-election campaigns.
Doesn't seem like the same type of people.
Ew. So, got them. They don't know how to play board games. So, it's odd. It's odd, yeah. You really shouldn't talk. So, it's peculiar because whether or not you think Donald Trump is a good president or a decent human being is irrelevant to the fact that the ads for his campaign, which you'd think is funded by the GOP and is $1 billion enterprise and all this shit, getting a president reelected in 2020, you would think they have good ads. The ads are fucking horrible. This Epic Times thing was not a presidential ad. It was just an ad for a right-wing, probably propaganda newspaper, but it doesn't matter. But the specific presidential campaign ads, I always watch them, and they're always horrible. Like, if I was a swing voter, I would be dissuaded away from voting for the Trump campaign or ticket because these ads are so... It's like someone made them in their basement in, like, 1966. Like, the editing is weird and the messaging is inconsistent, and it's all just like, do you like having a big cock? Vote Donald Trump. That's basically it. And every single ad is like that. There's no new... And maybe...
Do you like other guys with big cocks?
Maybe that's... Let's not talk about the fragile ecosystem wherein homosexual Republicans are forced to exist. But the point is that it's a terrible, terrible system of making ads, but maybe they know what they're doing. Like, maybe I'm the idiot for thinking that they need to go a little more highbrow. Like, maybe they're like, we won doing this, let's fucking double down.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but they always just make me laugh because they're so fucking stupid. Like, anyone who's persuaded by this ad, if I was a Trump supporter and I saw this ad, this would give me pause. This would give me legitimate reason to question if I'd been hoodwinked. But
what about the Dems?
I don't see any of their ads. I don't know.
I think you made a point to watch.
No, I watch every one that comes up, and they're all for Donald Trump. There is one that comes on that's like a Janet Reno-like lady. She's like, don't, a lot of ads now, because you're allowed to skip them after 5 seconds on YouTube, start by saying, don't skip this ad. So some woman with shoulder pads comes on and says, don't skip this ad unless you like COVID and Donald Trump. And then the actual ad starts. She's running for something. I skip those. I watched it once and then I skip them because they're not really all that entertaining. The Trump ones.
Maybe that's why they keep giving you Trump. Ooh.
Maybe. I don't know, but they must have done it. Maybe that's it. But I don't think so because maybe that could be it. But I started seeing like ads like on my sidebar when I go to websites before seeing the YouTube ads. All for Donald Trump. Like, Donald Trump's doing a great job. Vote for Donald Trump.
I'm not going to pretend to know the advertising
It
situation.
was
on the
peculiar. I tried to go back and think if I bought anything, or maybe
you have bought some Trump memorabilia as a joke.
I bought one thing at an As Seen on TV store in a mall, and I don't think I used my credit card. I think I paid in cash. Dear reader, if for when malls, probably in like the 2030s, when malls open again or exist in any sort of facsimile of what they used to be, go to, if you can find, an As Seen on TV store, because they're fucking fantastic. It's just a store full of stuff that you see on TV or have seen on TV and think, who would buy this? I'm not buying this. And then you go to the store and see and you go, I must buy this.
Yeah,
Because I go there, it's fantastic. It's the best place to shop because you can just buy 10 things and say, I don't even know who I'm shopping. I don't even know who I'm giving gifts to this year, but
someone will
I
love this.
know I found something for all of them. I know
feel
for a
like-
fact I can gift all of this to somebody in my life. Or
Even for me, like I buy for myself, and I'm just like,
Yep.
wow,
I was gonna say
needed this.
if you buy 10 things, then realize, oh, I only have 7 people to give gifts to, gift, then you have 3 fantastic things in your possession. I got meat claws for my brother, and also I think some type of weird oven mitt. I don't remember. And I got for my sister kind of as a gag gift, but I guess you can use it. It's, you know how egg cartons are shaped the way they are?
Yeah, yep.
So it's basically an egg carton, except it can fit, I think, 4, maybe 5, like with an egg in the middle. 5 eggs, and let's say 4 eggs, and it's plastic, so it's not like that flimsy cardboard, whatever pulp that it comes in. And it's, it's hard plastic, so it can be boiled. And the idea is that you boil water and you put the eggs in the little container and then you drop that into water, which is preposterous because you can just put eggs directly into water. There's nothing, you have to put unbroken eggs into this little contraption and then drop it into boiling water. It's adding a step to the process of hard boiling eggs. But it's just...
I've dropped eggs into pots before and they break.
How high are you dropping them from?
Like, I literally
Do you
have
put
them...
water in the pot first?
Yes, and then I have them half in the water, and then I let them go.
Why don't you put them gently in the water?
Because it's too hot to touch.
Why don't you put them gently in the water before you put the water on heat?
Sometimes the recipe calls...
It's boiling an egg.
I don't know how to cook. I don't get it.
Great Googling.
Sometimes you're like, oh, you need to let the oven preheat. Like, you can't put it in and then start the heating. Like, I never understood that.
No.
So it's like, that's obviously how it is with eggs. You let the water boil and then you
That's
put your little
irrelevant
eggs
to
in.
Also, you could lower it in with a spoon. I have
Sure, the spoon would probably be a better...
many times in the past boiled water and gotten eggs and gone, oh, I could have just dropped these in when the water was room temperature. But then I've gone, oh, whatever. And I just drop them in and they just go to the bottom. I've probably done that with hundreds of eggs at this point in my life. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Never have I broken an egg. How little water do you have?
So much water.
Yeah.
Like, half the pot is water.
I don't
know.
Anyway,
Okay.
there's I was looking up, because I have autism, I was looking up the biggest parking lots in the world.
Rob,
and the largest
what?
one, they're mostly airports. The largest one of them is in Disney. And it seems like, it's like, oh yeah, Disney World's parking lot has...
You should have let me guess.
Well,
I thought would be the biggest.
I haven't told you what the number 1 is yet. The Disney World is like 12,000, and then Epcot Center is also 12,000. So Disney World, the premises are 13,000. I'm like, wait a minute, what? So the math seems odd, and it seems like a lot of them are just kind of estimates.
Sure.
I don't know, but what this list said, what all the lists I could find, and what apparently
You'd
Guinness
think they'd
World Record
have
said,
records of like the exact amount of parking spots.
You'd think so, and they probably do, but whoever compiled these lists might not have had access to.
I love the
Anyway,
internet.
what do you think is number 1?
Well, now I regret this. I don't think I would have guessed an airport or a Disney, to be honest.
Okay, well, then...
I want to say something like army related or something, because that's like a big thing where a lot of people flock to, but...
You think people are flocking to military bases?
Look, that's a good point. Well, no, maybe like, you know the way all the military bases flock to one big military? Maybe that?
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You might be thinking of the game Rush Hour, which is a handheld parking lot game and has nothing to do with the military.
I have no idea what that is.
Confusing you is
I don't
probably
know
its
what
similarity
would be
to
the top.
Battleship.
I don't know what the top parking lot...
I'm glad you chastised me for not letting you guess.
Yeah.
This is, Jessica, Gold Star Radio.
Thank you.
This is A+.
Thank you.
You have to
Well,
submit...
if you said, like, give me a list of, like, 5 top things, it'd be easier, but I have to pick the number 1.
Go
and
fuck
that's
yourself.
stressful.
Fuck you.
Go fuck
There's
yourself.
Give me one guess.
The zoo.
The zoo.
Yep.
Would you like to submit anything more specific?
Nope, just a zoo. Well, like you said, an airport, so I feel like that's
I
fine.
did say an airport.
Yeah, that's a fine. Because I'm trying to think of what, like, a lot of people go to zoos, a lot of people go to
It's a
amusement
mall
parks.
in Edmonton, Canada.
A mall, that's a good
It's a
one,
shopping
too.
mall. I think it's the biggest or maybe second biggest now shopping mall in North America.
Oh, I feel such a fool.
It's enormous, and it has a lot of...
Yeah, the Mall of America would have been a good guess.
It has it used to have a fire-breathing dragon, and it has a recreation of the... Yeah, it has a recreation. It has the largest indoor lake in the world.
Indoor lake?
Yeah, it's the deep sea lake or something. And in that lake is a moored recreation of Christopher Columbus's Santa Maria, I think is
In
the boat.
Canada?
Yeah. And
What a weird...
I mean, it's not the boat, obviously.
Yeah, but
It's
why
just
are they...
a model.
Why are they worshiping...
But it's I think it's full size.
Okay.
It's quite large.
Full size.
Yeah, it's enormous. I mean,
do people swim in this lake, or is it just
no?
decorative?
No, I don't think you're allowed to go in it or anything. But
It's just okay.
They have a.
Oh my god! I thought this was like a water park situation.
They have, I think, the world's largest water park indoors, at least,
and
or
this
maybe
lake?
North America's largest indoor water park.
I would love to go to this mall.
There's a wave pool and all this shit, and there's a water slide that's like 100 feet tall.
Can you please elaborate on the dragon?
It doesn't exist anymore, but it used to be there and it's breathing fire.
No. What is it? Is it a robot?
It was an animatronic dragon that was, I think, hanging from the ceiling. Okay. That was enormous.
Was it modeled after anything?
No, not as far as I can tell. And it breathed fire. It's
real fire.
Oh yeah, fire. And this place held quite a few world records, and it's very interesting.
I would love to go.
Yeah. The Santa Maria, speaking of...
What a weird brain you have.
Only held like 50 people. It wasn't as big as you might think, but it's still it's a boat, so it's quite a large sail ship.
Needs to store food and shit.
So yeah, it's a weird mall. It has a lot of very interesting features to it. I'll look it up right now because there was something else that I think I'm forgetting.
We're running low on time.
We can wrap it up. This can be the last point I was making. West Edmonton Mall.
Look at me. I'm even being responsible about making sure we don't go over.
Is the largest shopping mall in North America, followed by American Dream Meadowlands in New Jersey. The Palisades Mall is also in New Jersey. Does New Jersey have like 2 of North America's top 10 malls?
I thought the biggest mall was the Mall of America in like Ohio or something.
I think it's in Minnesota.
Whatever.
And no, it's not, apparently.
Really? Was the Palisades Mall bigger than that?
No, but the one in the Meadowlands is.
No shit.
Is only about...
The
Meadowlands is only like
an
half an hour from Palisades.
Let's go.
We've been to the Meadowlands. It's where the March of Dimes was.
We did not go to the mall?
No, it's true. I don't think it was open yet.
Oh, let's fucking go.
The Meadowlands is where the Giants play.
Oh, it's new.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Otherwise, I would know about it.
Oh, yeah. There are over 800 stores and services, including 9 attractions, 2 hotels.
Hotels?
Yeah.
2 hotels? Come on.
That fascinated me.
I would just have 1 hotel and then you can have a monopoly.
There's Galaxyland, which is an indoor theme park.
That's fun.
It has 24 rides.
Jesus.
It's behind Ferrari World.
What?
The Triple Loop Mindbender is the world's largest indoor roller coaster.
You keep going to all these really cool points and just glossing right over them.
Because there's a lot.
Ferrari World.
Jessica, we don't have time.
Is it just like a garden of cars?
World Water Park has the world's largest indoor wave pool.
Okay.
Mayfield Toyota Ice Palace is an ice skating rink.
Oh.
Professor W.E.M.'s Adventure Golf. I don't know what that is.
So Ferrari World is probably not.
I don't know.
With
Ferraris. Under other attractions is listed a sculpture of a bronze whale that's in a fountain, and then a brass sculpture of a man just sitting in a food court as though he's eating a meal.
You know, those really piss me off.
I don't know. I would imagine
sculptures to look like everyday people.
I would imagine that a mall of this size and magnitude would have more attractions besides this just a sculpture of a man. There's an indoor shooting range. There's Fantasyland Hotel.
Oh my god, I would love to stay at that hotel.
A large-scale replica of the Santa Maria for some reason.
That's honestly
the deck can be booked for private functions.
Holy shit.
A 24-hour gym. A dinner theater. Has held a history of nightclubs and recreation spaces.
We're going to this mall.
Envy Nightclub. West 49 Skate Shop. Okay, I don't know why that's... An internet cafe. That can't still be the case,
Nerds.
right? Interdenominational chapel. 3 radio stations.
They have a chapel.
A blacklit mini golf.
Ooh. Mini golf.
Oh yeah, they have themed streets. One of them is meant to look like Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Ready for this.
Yeah, Europa Boulevard, Chinatown, which is just obviously
which one?
Asian themed. What?
Asian themed.
Chinatown what?
Like which one is it modeled off of?
Well, I would guess that it's modeled off of
New York.
China in theory, not a Chinatown. I don't think most Chinatowns are modeled after a different Chinatown. I think they're modeled after some maybe stereotype of Asian culture.
But it's an Americanized Asian culture.
I don't think it's supposed to be. I think it is because it's built in America.
America.
Although a lot of Chinatowns aren't really even that. A lot of Chinatowns are just a bunch of Asian immigrants moving into a neighborhood.
Sure, but I feel like
And
that's
so
what
it's
happened
really
in
not that Americanized.
Yeah, but I feel like once you get the concept, it's kind of like if you're modeling your mall street after Chinatown, I would model it after one of the ones in America. I wouldn't model it straight after China.
Well, I would disagree, but that seems like a good place to stop.
Let's fucking go. Check it out. We'll report back.
Yeah. See you later, pod racers. Did I do a time check?
Nope.
Ugh, God. 11:29 in the PM. See you later, pod racers.
Bye.